Hello, this is Rachel from the Nerdy Homeschooler. I am a second-generation homeschool mom with 3 young boys, and in my monthly update videos, I give a little bit of a recap of what the last month of homeschool has looked like for us, maybe share a couple of favorites, what's going well, and what I'm looking forward to and adapting for the next month. So first of all, I'm going to start with kind of big picture what our October looked like. My husband, who is a teacher, had his fall break in October. So we took a week off of school, which is what we typically do. We just follow his schedule. So when he's off of work, we are also off of school. However, we did not opt to travel during this fall break. Just thinking about our past travels and also future travels that we want to do, we decided it was a good time to stay home, save the money. And so we didn't actually go anywhere during fall break, but we live in a pretty small town, so we did want to get out, get a change of scenery. So we did take a day trip, about an hour and a half, 2 hours from where we live. And I kind of had to laugh because this day trip was just so stereotypical homeschool coded. In this one day trip, we left early in the morning. My parents came with us, my sisters. We went to a mangrove forest, first stop early in the morning so it wouldn't be hot, and we got to go on a nice boardwalk through the mangroves, and I'll try to put some pictures here if I can, but it was really funny to me because my boys were running ahead of me on the boardwalk and they were saying, oh, I saw a different species of bird, write that one down, Mom. Oh, I saw a mudskipper. Oh, I saw a red crab, write that one down. And I'm like, write it down on what? I have nothing to write it down on. Like you're talking like we do nature journaling or something, and we don't actually do nature journaling. But they're like, mark that one down. So they were keeping track of how many different types of creatures they saw there. Really cool. And then after the mangrove forest, we went to a charcoal factory, which I had read online that they offered tours. In reality, this place is kind of in the middle of nowhere. So I think it's probably pretty rare that random people stopped by, but the workers were very happy to see us. It was a self-service tour, so we could wander around the ovens where wood is being heated and being turned into charcoal, and they were actually unloading one of the ovens while we were there, and they very happily invited us inside one of the charcoal ovens. And then they laughed uproariously at us when we were all coughing and sweating because the oven is still filled with smoke and it's very, very hot. So it was just a crazy, shocking difference to just literally walk inside the doorway of this oven and be hit with this massive wave of heat that the workers are going inside and unloading all of the charcoal from this oven. Really interesting, fascinating, very memorable experience. So we did mangrove forest, charcoal factory, and then after that we went and toured a mushroom farm and got to hear all about how these mushroom farmers grow their mushrooms, what's their process, and we actually came home with a grow your own mushroom, and my son proceeded to grow his own pink oyster mushroom and then eat it with pasta. So it was very homeschool feeling kind of day trip. And I should also mention that during this week off from school, we did continue with just a little bit of reading and math every day. This was mainly for my kindergartner because he's not really at a stage where it's good for him to take a whole week off of reading or a whole week off of subtracting. So I wanted to keep him going. My older son, he would be fine with a week off. He's more at a stable place in what he's learned. But in the interests of what is it called? Justice, fairness, something. We did just a small, minimal homeschool routine while my husband was around throughout that week. Just a little bit of math practice, a little bit of reading practice every day. And that also gave my husband a chance to do some math with my younger son and do some reading with him. And I think that gave him an appreciation for the amount of patience that I show teaching every day. Then something that we've been doing for a while now, and I think I have mentioned before, is that we are doing all chapter book read alouds at bedtime. For me right now, with the season of having a young toddler, I am still doing read alouds throughout the day, but we're sticking more to our picture books or to our shorter read alouds. We're not diving into long chapter books during our daytime school routine just because there are too many interruptions, too many ups and downs with having a very young child. So doing chapter books at bedtime works well because either he's falling asleep or he can be playing with his dad or, you know, it's just a different time of the day and it tends to work better with the energy of a toddler. So what's been working really well for us right now is we are doing 3 bedtime stories every night. That's the plan. Sometimes my boys pick out a picture book or 4 picture books to try to add to the pile. And if we have enough time, then, you know, I'm a sucker for when my kids are asking me to read them books. But this is what we're doing, is we do 1 book that is my choice. We just recently finished Farmer Boy, and now we are doing the Usborne Illustrated Odyssey, which is a children's version of the Odyssey, the story of Odysseus. And this is one of the few read alouds I wanted to do this year that does tie into our ancient history studies. We are just heading into an ancient Greece study, and we've just read like the first 2 chapters in this book so far. This is maybe a bit of a stretch for them just because there are a lot of names and a lot of characters in this, but they've been quite interested in it with the first couple of chapters. Then we're doing just a little section of Story of the World. I'm not reading a whole chapter at a time. If you have this book, you'll notice that a chapter tends to be divided into a couple sections that are just 2 or 3 pages, and we'll read one of those. And then for the 3rd book, it is a Their Choice chapter book. And they found this series, Sam Silver, Undercover Pirate, at the library. And this is the 3rd book. We've just finished the 3rd book last night in the series. They are really loving it. My kindergartner especially is like, no, we have to have enough time to read Sam Silver. So he's like very motivated to get ready for bed, because we do bedtime stories after they are completely ready for bed. So doing my choice, Their Choice, and our little Story of the World history has been a really great routine for them right now. We really enjoy bedtime stories. At this point, with my 2nd grader, I feel like we've hit a pretty good groove. He knows what to expect for the most part. Definitely some things come easier to him than others. He's very strong in his math, and his writing or language arts skills I would not say are at an equal level. He's more advanced in math, and he's not necessarily advanced in language arts, which language arts just is a subject area that I really love. So I think in some ways I might feel a little eager to introduce him to, you know, doing more writing, more composing, and more of those things that, you know, really make my heart sing. I want to share these things that I enjoy and that I love with him. But he's still working on, you know, basic foundational skills. Remember to start your sentence with a capital. Remember to end it with a period, you know, and basic spelling. He still needs to spend some time with the basics. And this is actually something I preach. This is something I talk about in my videos, is don't rush on to writing instruction and composition before a child really has those basics down. And it's something I always do need to remember and keep in mind. So we're continuing to work on all of those early elementary basic language arts skills. He has his spelling, he has his cursive. We do reading every single day. He is reading aloud to me still, so that he is building very good habits of making sure to read every single word, not skipping and coming to his own conclusions about what the book says. So we're working on all those skills, working on math every day. Ancient history and ancient art has been fantastic. We are continuing to do notebooking, and I'm not having him write in his notebook for the most part. Once in a while, maybe I will have him write a sentence or 2, but for the most part, because of where he's at, I'm having him tell me. And when he is telling me, and when he's telling me about a topic he's really interested in, he can tell me a lot. So, for example, this week he narrated the story of Theseus and the Minotaur, and he basically retold the entire story of Theseus and the Minotaur, and I had to scribble down 2 pages worth of this story. But this is our little notebook. We're doing it once, maybe twice a week, adding a page or 2, and sometimes I am adding in little activities or pages from the student notebook that I want to keep. So this was our maze for Theseus and the Minotaur, from studying Minoan, ancient Minoan history. So I do add some of these little printouts, or sometimes I'll print out a little extra page when I know it's something he's really interested in and might want to add in to the notebook. But he is also doing some of his own drawings as well. And I'm really happy with how this is coming along, how that routine has been implemented just once a week. You don't have to do notebooking every day, but finding a place for it in our homeschool. And I'm excited to see how this will grow as his skills grow. Science has also been going fantastic. I've actually realized that this child does not really consider history or science to be schoolwork. He considers his math and his language arts, his Spanish language arts, those are his schoolwork. But then like science and history, that's just fun. We have also been delving into something very new for him that he's excited about, which is introducing a little bit of computer schoolwork into his day. And that has been very motivating to him. And he does well having some motivation. So we've introduced typing. I'm just using, I think it's typingclub.com, which is free. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it actually seems to be really logically organized. It does have ads in the free version, and there's a few games that you can't play in the free version, but it's logically organized. I like that they have an animation on the screen of where the fingers are supposed to be. It's kind of weird because I feel like I haven't been able to find a typing program that I like as much as what I used as a kid, which was Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing. Let me know if you used that program growing up. So I feel like it's not as awesome as Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing, but it's been good, and he's been doing it about a month now, and I'm actually really impressed at the progress that he's made from a month ago of not knowing at all what the system is for typing to knowing quite a few of the keys. He's done top home row and top row, and he's starting to get the bottom row, practice with the bottom row now too. So he's able to get his fingers in the right position, and I'm seeing little bits of that muscle memory begin to develop. It takes a while, of course, with typing. So I've introduced typing and have also introduced extra math, which to some sense, you know, he might not necessarily need extra math, but he likes it. So, hey, we're doing that. So let me know. I'm not someone who's super eager to introduce a lot of computer learning, but it is also something I enjoyed as a kid. We had the great Jumpstart CDs. I don't know if anyone played those, the Jumpstart CD games that had a lot of educational games. I still remember how fun it was to play those with my siblings. Let me know if you have any really beloved, really good quality educational computer sites and resources, like games / learning programs like typing programs or math programs, like in different subject areas. Let me know if you have something, but this has been a new foray into having some daily computer schoolwork that he gets to do at the end after he has finished all the rest of his schoolwork. Also, something brand new for him this month is fencing. He had his first fencing class, which was an opportunity that opened up to do for 1/4 of the school year. We're just committed for a quarter right now. We'll see how it goes. He was very excited about fencing and learning to fight with swords like a pirate in his description, and came out of class showing me the movements and so on that he learned. So we'll see how this goes, but we're doing fencing instead of chess club for this quarter. Also, there was one day this month where he had to finish his schoolwork in an emergency because he had the emergency of needing to make a Lord of the Rings themed Monopoly. So he made all the boards, he made all the cards for all the property. We named the properties after places in Lord of the Rings, like Bag End and Bree and the Dead Marshes and Moria, Rivendell, Mordor. We also have some items, so the valuable properties, he was very specific on this, that the most valuable properties had to be the One Ring and the Mithril shirt. So he had quite the vision for this. He needed some help with writing and spelling the names of the places, and he has played this multiple times since creating it. So his love for Monopoly and Lord of the Rings is running strong. For my kindergartner, the favorite part of the day continues to be Curious Kinder, and we have been going through the snow segment this month, using Over and Under the Snow and a handful of very snowy, wintry books. This is the one we're going to do next week, which is Owl Moon. We did Blizzard, we did Brave Irene, a whole bunch of wintry books. And you guys who have temperate seasons might be thinking, that's weird, to do a snow unit in October. To me, I live in eternal summer, so I have zero problem with doing themed units that might not match the time of year necessarily. My child is never going to see snow, basically, in our current living situation, so we're just going to enjoy reading great wintry, snowy books whenever we want and learning about winter animals. So this is always a delight. A high point of every day is doing the Curious Kinder. And I'm really happy with how far he's been able to come with his narration, especially with telling back the Bible stories. The repetition and the narration is working very, very well for him and really seeing his verbal skills blossoming. For reading, he is starting to get introduced to more and more of the phonogram special sounds little by little. So we have our common ones, ing, ang, ong, now ink, ank, onk, those type of sounds. We're getting into a little bit of bossy R sounds, sh, th, ch, just different basic sounds. So he doesn't know all the sounds yet on this, but I pulled out this old classic Sound O game, and we've been playing this every day. I'm really trying to build more immediacy with these special sounds. So this was an old classic from my mom's collection. This is part of Sing, Spell, Read, and Write, if you've ever heard of that very old phonics program. And they have a number of different little games, and my mom still has some of the pieces. So we have been practicing our special sounds. It's still going to take a while to master all these, and it's going to take a while to get fast at these, but I'm seeing gradual progress. Okay, I know what this one is. I know what this one is. It just takes time. Doing it in little small doses consistently every day is where I'm seeing progress with his reading. Math is going fine. Still not fast at subtraction. I think that's going to take a while. Again, little small doses of practice to build up speed. I've seen his addition speed come a long way. Now our next step, subtraction, and subtracting strategically and speedily. That still has yet to come. My littlest son, if you've seen some of my pictures on Instagram lately, he loves to be sitting on our school table while we are doing schoolwork. That's his favorite place to be, and the bookshelf's right there, so he's always pulling his books off the bookshelf. And this little series of cozy classics has been his favorite lately, which makes my heart sing because I love these. His oldest brother, who's in 2nd grade, loved these when he was a little guy. And they have these little like felt fabric people and just one word per page. Although usually when I read these with him, I'm more just like describing what's happening in the story in Spanish as much as possible. And he just really connects with these illustrations, and like he'll get really excited about this one. Oh, he knows it's a fight. He knows there's something really exciting going on. And a lot of times he'll like put his body into the position of the character, whatever the character is doing in the book. So this one with the ballerina, he has to go into his dance position and he needs to hold my hand so that he can stand on one leg. But it is so cute that he just loves these, and he's using his words as he is going through these. I feel like his vocabulary has been exploding. He doesn't really speak in sentences, but 1, 2, maybe 3 words at a time. And I also feel like, and again, memories can get fuzzy. I feel like he's speaking more Spanish than my boys did at his age, which I know that I speak more Spanish than I did when my older boys were his age. Spanish is we're more used to it being a part of our days. A lot of his words that he has are in Spanish, and I am feeling pretty excited about that. And I mentioned in some recent updates that our daily lives have really shifted a lot in the past couple of months as we have closed down the learning center that I've been a part of owning and operating for the past 8 years, and we have downsized and just are staying actually home, homeschooling actually at home all day long, but inviting our friends, my students into the home. So now most days of the week, we actually have 8 kids between the ages of 14 and 1 here in the home, and 6 of them are boys, of which half of them are mine. So, not that surprising that there's a lot of boys as part of this group. So these are sometimes pretty loud and tiring days, but we're finding our groove with this new routine, getting more comfortable with it, figuring out what actually works, and what the kids really love to do, and what helps motivate them, again, to get all their schoolwork and their lessons done, work hard. What they really love to do these days is go biking after they've all finished their lessons. And we have slowly been adding to our bike collection when we see a good deal on a used bike. So now we have, I think, 6 bikes, although 2 of them are just little glider bikes, but we have all these bikes of all these different sizes. And so by the end of the school day, we basically have the little biker gang of the neighborhood heading out to go biking. until they get picked up and have to go back home. And that's really fun. Like, I'm really glad. I love seeing this. You know, I love old-fashioned childhood. I love that my kids are getting to go out biking with their friends basically every day. However, biking time is also usually followed immediately by cleaning wounds and scraped knees and bandaging time. So I'm also hoping that with more experience, they will gradually get better at not falling off of their bikes, all of them, and not crashing the bikes, because also we tend to usually be a bike short, because I feel like almost every day, at least one of the bikes is in some state of disrepair, and then my husband is having to come home and be like, what, you need me to fix another bike? Yes, because somebody crashed it and they bent something or unattached something, the chain is off. So, you know, we need to learn how to ride bikes with also not crashing and breaking the bike or yourself. Great life skills, right? We're working on it. That is my update for October. I'm looking very much forward to November as well as December. I have been mulling over what our Christmas school plans are going to look like, and I will have a video coming to you pretty soon in the next couple of weeks on our Christmas school plans, so hang tight for that one. See you next time. Bye.